Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And if you've been following this channel for some time now, then you'll know that we've been witnessing nothing less than a massive worldwide paradigm shift, moving from an old, obsolete globalist system to a rising civilizationalist, nationalist, populist world. And in the midst of this transition, we're seeing quite the economic upheaval. I mean, we're watching historic debt levels, currency debasement, central banks quietly stockpiling gold, and a world that's moving away from trust and paper promises backed by globalist institutions and are instead turning back toward tangible and timeless value. These events are not isolated, they're signals, and history teaches us that those who understand the signals early don't panic, they prepare. Joining me today to walk us through what's really happening and what an unprecedented $5,000 gold price actually means for families, investors, and the future of the patriot economy is my guest, Devlin Steele, a Harvard economist and the director of education at Augusta Precious Metals. Devlin has spent years enlightening fiscal conservatives about savings diversification through alternative assets. He studied the realities behind money, markets, and metals, and he brings a rare ability to cut through the noise and explain clearly what's going on in a way that actually makes sense. So if you've been wondering why gold is surging, why central banks know, or what central banks know that most people don't, and how moments like this have historically reshaped wealth, power, and freedom, then you are exactly where you need to be. So let's dive in. We talk all the time on this channel about the rise of the parallel economy. Now that gold is at these historic levels, is it now officially like the parallel treasury? So for when I was, you'll dig this. When I was at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas a few months back, I was on a podcast where the host made a very interesting observation, but this is from a digital vantage point. He said that there are only going to be two overall options, again, digitally: Bitcoin, or the other currencies, or CBDCs. And so he was arguing that we needed to position ourselves sovereignly as over and against the central bank digital currencies. And so he was, again, in the digital realm, he was seeing Bitcoin as that. Is that what you're seeing? Is that comparable to what you're seeing with gold in terms of its sovereignty significance in relation to CBDCs?
Well, CBDCs. I mean, I know you don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, it is a transferring money into the government being able to track everything you do, and not only track what you do, they could even advance it to, okay, we don't want you buying cigarettes, so we're going to not let your money buy cigarettes. There's so much involved with it that we could get into that conversation. But gold in itself, you're right, it is a parallel economy, a parallel dual control of, you now basically have a central bank, your own personal central bank in your pocket.
Right.
So it allows you to make transactions and do anything you want with your own privacy, your own freedom. And you can't have a parallel economy without having freedom with that. And I know you talk about homeschooling and really developing your own control in your life. Gold is part of that description.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You're never truly free if you're not financially free. They'll always get you there. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, right?
But,
What you know,
but the thing is, the $5,000 price isn't. Americans are underowned. They don't own enough gold. They're still in the old system. They haven't woken up yet, and they still believe that tomorrow is going to be the same as today, and that's not the way it's going to work. So the price tag of gold is strictly from the central banks and the financial institutions saying, hey, we want to walk away from this. We want to de-dollarize. We want to get rid of our U.S. treasuries. You have Japan, China. You have, the Dutch are dumping U.S. treasuries. They're really looking to de-dollarize, and that's why gold is up over $5,000. Once the consumers get in, really, really get in,
Yes. Wow.
That's a different story now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's we'll be talking big numbers at that point.
Wow. Wow. It's so interesting because what I love about this is how, it fits so well with, you mentioned my thesis on the return of tradition. That's actually a paper that I originally delivered over Patrick Henry College years back. And I gotta say, I got a rather cold reception at the time. So I think this was like 2016, 2017, something like that. And the consensus there, and I'm trying to, not to disparage them, but the consensus there, and this is a very conservative Christian college, very much like a parallel economy college kind of thing. But their consensus was that the globalists have got this. There's no beating them. We just have to wait around and, wait for the appearance of the Antichrist, basically. I mean, it was incredibly pessimistic. Again, not to be too crass there, but I'd love to go back now and see if they've changed their tune and recognize, no, the world is returning. It is rejecting liberal globalism, and it is going back to its ancient civilizationalist roots. And what that's doing is that's exposing fiat currency as a modern liberal invention based on debt, right? And dependent on intermediary institutions. Whereas gold, by contrast, is ancient, it's traditional, it's biblical, it's real. Uh, and so, with the price where it is, are we seeing a kind of spiritual return to honest money? And if I can put a tag on that, why do you think the average consumer out there right now watching is still hesitant to get in on this, even at $5,000 an ounce, even was, central banks, China, Poland, India are buying every ounce that they can? Is the public, I guess I'm asking, is the public that's our audience who definitely want to see a new civilizationalist age rise, are many of them still trapped in the modernist globalist matrix?
Absolutely. But let me just say, we are seeing a return to honest money. I mean, that's what this is about something that is not putting your faith in a political instrument, someone telling you blindly, have faith in this, we're going to take care of you. People we have to return back to an honest money because those political promises aren't being kept. But when you ask the question, why isn't the population moving? Is you use the term matrix, they're in the matrix. The media they're getting is saying inflation is cooling, which is absurd, by the way.
Right.
And that real wages are growing, and they hear all of this, and they have also been trained from they're very, very young. You talked about homeschooling. They're trained. You go to school, what are you doing? You report to a supervisor. They tell you when you can have lunch, when you can go to the bathroom, when you can go home. You go to work, they do the same thing. You report to a supervisor. They tell you when you can take breaks, lunch, when you can go home. And then you get a paycheck, and they never taught you about money. And what do you do with that paycheck? Your only savings is the money they take out for your 401. In your 401, you have no options. You can choose to be aggressive, moderate, or conservative. Three choices in your 401. And somebody else is making your financial decisions all the time. You've never made a decision. You never said, okay, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to put it somewhere else. I'm going to look for a way to make my life better and not just follow the system. Everyone is still plugged into the system, following the system, and listening to media tell them, you're okay, don't worry about a thing. And what I always tell people is, don't listen to the words, follow the actions. The people who know, the central banks, the financial institutions, they are buying gold and silver. There's a reason for it.
Right. Talk about the ultimate irony. That's astonishing. I think it's pretty clear. You and I both agree. I mean, well, who are we, right? I mean, I would say most scholars. Even we just saw what's his name from BlackRock, basically saying it's the nationalist states that tempered immigration that are going to be flourishing in the future. It's the ones that open up their borders that are everything's falling apart. So look, globalist order is crumbling. The IMF, the WTO, the World Bank, I mean, they're still around, but they're just shells of what they once were. For the Turley talkers watching who want to declare once and for all their own independence from that globalist monstrosity, can you answer this question for us? Is it too late to get in? Because I've heard people say that, and and I can kind of relate to that in the sense that. So I told you I've been in gold now for years, but I haven't necessarily bought more gold recently, right? So I think one of the reasons why is there's a voice in the back of my mind says, but the price is too high. So there's a comparable hesitancy on my part to load up even more on gold. So if I'm tracking with you correctly, are we at just the beginning of a whole new era? Are we at the beginning of a new era of tradition and value? And if so, how do we emancipate ourselves from the era of debt and decay? Because I think when people say, it's too late, they're just defaulting back to debt and decay.
Listen, is it too late? In my opinion, absolutely not. Am I here to set price predictions? No. But I will tell you that I do not think $5,000 is the ceiling. I think it is the floor. And the reason for that is some very simple, basic concepts. One is the reason why gold and silver are where they are is not from purely economics. It is from trust. There's a lack of trust globally. Everyone is going independent. Trade, Canada's talking to China. We never thought we'd see that. Everything is changing in the global order, and trust is the major thing that is completely gone right now.
Shattered.
And the dollar is based on trust. So if a fiat currency is based on trust and trust is evaporating, the answer to your question is if you believe trust is going to become blossoming and that there's going to be a kumbaya and everyone is just going to get along, stick with your dollars. But if you believe trust is evaporating, and if you believe another concept, very simple, do you believe that your dollars are going to buy you more in 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Because when I speak to people, they say, no, the dollar is going to buy me less. Gold and silver have an inverse relationship with the dollar. Dollar value goes down, gold and silver go up. So it's not always about thinking that gold and silver is rising. The trust, the faith, and the purchasing power of the dollar is shrinking. So it takes more dollars to buy gold and silver. So if you believe those dollars are going in one direction, by virtue of that belief, you're saying, I believe gold and silver are going to go up. That's what I believe. And back in September, people thought I was nuts. I put out a video. I said I called gold to 5,000 and silver to 100. I didn't think we'd get here this soon.
Yeah.
But I was right then. I don't want to make any price predictions anymore because really, I don't see ceilings right now.
Wow.
But the main thing I want to tell people is that you're not buying price. You're buying the future. Where do you believe the future is going to go? And you want to not be 100% in paper. I'm not saying sell your house, put everything you have into gold and silver, but doesn't it make sense to have a percentage outside of paper just because you just don't know what's going to happen? Wouldn't that make sense? Everyone else is telling you stay where you are, but have something outside of paper, I think is critical at this point in what's happening in the world and the global order that you keep talking about.
Devlin, would you agree with this? Because what you just said, this reminded me of it. Peter Schiff once made the observation I thought was very fascinating. He said, you get into gold fundamentally, this is fundamentals, you get into gold not to make money, you get into gold to keep your money. Absolutely. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. By virtue, people are making money, and that's great. But people call me up and ask me, should I sell? And I say, it's very interesting you ask me that, because why'd you get into it? Well, I don't
Right.
trust the dollar. I don't trust debt. I don't trust the government. I said, so now that the gold is worth more, you're going to trade that gold for dollars. So what are you going to do with those dollars?
You go back into the pit. Yeah.
What are you going to look for? You're going to look for an investment that will protect you from dollars.
Right. Exactly. I love it.
So to me, it's just part of a portfolio. I've been buying gold and silver longer than you, only because I'm a lot older than you. But
well, you make me feel young.
But the point is that I don't think I've ever sold any.
Yeah. I haven't sold one, and 1 ounce, none. Yeah.
But
For very much the reasons you're talking about.
But if you ask the question, is it too late to buy? If you really believe that, then you would sell.
Of course not. Yeah.
You know?
It's right. It's never too late to buy if the commodity is there that keeps your buying power. I mean, by definition. Yeah. That's one. I mean, Devin, I could talk to you forever. I was telling you beforehand, I was just looking at your work and I was like, oh gosh, this is a guy we can hang out into the wee hours chatting. But I do, what I love about your work is that you remind us that in the midst of this, geopolitical, demographic, religious transition that the world is going through, there's a monetary transition that's happening as well. And we don't want to be in this sort of, cognitive dissonance, as it were, where we're looking so forward for this new traditionalist civilization, archeo-future kind of world rising, while keeping our bank accounts in this old, obsolete globalist age. And that's what I love about your work. You remind us, that we need to track with our money in this archeo-future direction as well. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been mind-blowing. Gang, a new civilizationalist world is rising, which means that a very ancient civilizationalist form of money is returning. And again, as Devlin has pointed out, that return is happening all over the world. So if you want to get in on this new civilizationalist gold rush, and I'm doing it right along with you guys, you just need to click on the link below, go to turleybuysgold.com, or text Turley to 35052. That's 35052 to request your free guide today. And that's going to help you finally get in to this rising civilizationalist age. So thank you so much again, Devlin. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to speaking with you. Like you said, we're like-minded in so many ways. So thank you for having me.
Simpatico. That's right. Thanks, Devlin.